But no, looking at some of our baseball and company news, first things first, I think last week our JUCO guys released our Power 25 preseason Power 25 for the JUCO season, as some of these JUCOs are starting down in the southern states this week, I believe, or maybe last weekend. But Wabash Valley, they're coming in the preseason, and we have them ranked at number 22. And then John A. Logan down there in Carterville is ranked number 24 in our preseason top 25. So pretty big, pretty awesome, and pretty big news there with those two teams.
I mean, my biggest takeaway, and we might get into it with Adam Christ a little bit, is just how fast the spring starts for these colleges. I played NAIA baseball down in Southern Indiana, and we were similar. Like, our season started extremely early. But these JUCOs going down south, everybody kind of varies when they open up. Some of these Midwest JUCOs are a little more aggressive than others, but just the fact that we have baseball on the horizon, that there is weather good enough to host some games down south it's just kind of exciting. Kind of gets the juices flowing.
Yeah, absolutely. And then another big thing that came through last week, D1 baseball announcer, like preseason pitcher, player of the year, things like that for each conference. And Dom Vagley, who was a very good friend of the show, he was on a couple weeks ago, was named the Big 12 preseason pitcher of the year. Last year, he was the Big 12 freshman pitcher of the year, and coming into the year, being named the Big 12 preseason pitcher of the year is a pretty big honor. So that's super exciting. Super excited to see how his season goes for him. So that'll be one guy to watch for, and that's pretty awesome to see. So another thing that D1 baseball announced this year, Illinois State is projected as the number 2 team in the Missouri Valley coming into this season, so that'll be exciting. As a Illinois State grad, I'm pumped to see that. I hope they have a good season. Always rooting for them, always watching them. D1 baseball also ranked Brendan Summerhill, who is at Arizona and is originally from Whitney Young. They ranked him as a number 13 overall college prospect this year. So that's another guy to watch for this year. I know we have him listed pretty high in our mock drafts, right? Have you guys seen that?
Yeah, I think regardless of where you look, lately he's like a consensus top 15 pick as of right now. So yeah, that's big time. Even being just ranked number 13 in all of college, like I think Shooter was saying, right, like this year's college draft like might not be as heavy at the top. Like it might be more high schoolers going early this year. So no, really cool for Brendan.
Well, and Gavin, I'm sitting here looking at our notes for the podcast, and Brendan Summerhill, ranked number 13, like you said, by D1 Baseball. We mentioned Illinois State, right? They're picked number 2 in the Missouri Valley, and then they also had 2 guys landing on this list. And I know I'm probably stealing your thunder, but Shy Robinson from Homewood Flossmoor comes in at number 89, and then Daniel Pasella from Mundelein comes in at number 115. And I think my biggest thing when I look at this is just how good the 2022 class in Illinois was. I had to pull up our rankings from back then just to look, but like some of the names in that class, Noah Schultz, he's the number 1 left-handed pitching prospect in baseball or something like that. I think I recently saw. Owen Murphy, we had him on the podcast, back-to-back player of the year here in Illinois. Then you got Jack Lausch at number 3, and we hadn't heard his name in a while because he went to Northwestern to play quarterback. And I thought like some really interesting breaking news within the last week or two was he's going to give baseball a shot again. And was just an extremely athletic left-handed hitting center fielder that could flat run, thoroughbred athlete. And he's going to have a transition getting back into the swing of things, going from high school baseball into college baseball. It's not going to be easy. But, man, that should be a fun one to watch. And then we had Brendan Summerhill at number 4 in that class. Behind him, you have Ashton Izzy, who was Oswego East with Noah Schultz, was a draft out of high school. Him and Noah Schultz both drafted out of Oswego East. And then like just looking down this list, you've got Estevan Moreno, who's making a name for himself at Notre Dame. You have Luke Adams, he was drafted out of high school. He's making his way through the Brewers organization. Victor Izquierdo. I mean, so many good names. And then down at number 12, we had Daniel Pasella. At 13, we had Shy Robinson. So I love that looking back, seeing at the guys that are kind of, performing and excelling at that next level and where we had them ranked and just how strong that 2022 class was. Like there are so many more names. I'm going down the list here. We had Casey Hintz in the 30s. He's supposed to be one of the top arms at Arizona this year. And Peter, I think you were saying something about like he might have been um, like I don't know what they do, like an all-star of the Cape Cod League this
Yeah,
past
him
summer.
and Pluta were both.
Yeah.
His dad commented on our Cole Kmet post. They've been playing together since they were little, and yeah, they both played in the Cape this summer, and they're both all-stars. So that is not something to take lightly at all. So that's really good for both of them.
Yeah, and I mean Tony Pluta was ranked number 23. Both of them were St. Viator grads. So I get really fired up when I see little notes like that, Gavin, and just wanted to shout it out.
Yeah, and I got to see Shy play this summer for the Madison Mallards. Got their hat right up there, so shout out the Madison Mallards. But no, I know he had a pretty good summer for them up there in Madison. But tonight we have our preseason pro case, which I know we've talked about quite a bit. So keep an eye out for all of our coverage throughout that. We'll have some videos, but I mean, does anyone want to touch on anything with the pro case, or just? I know we have a really good roster coming, and it should be a good night.
I mean, it's going to be the biggest pro case we've ever had, and it just kind of naturally progressed that way. Like we sent out our initial invites, and it wasn't like we, then extended it to a second tier group of players. It just keeps getting bigger. We open it up to Wisconsin, Indiana, and Indiana's had a nice little showing here of guys that are going to be coming over on a weekday evening to get to our pro case. Most recently, Wyatt Pennington. He's a two-way guy, committed to Evansville, but it looks really good on the mound. I don't know for sure if he's going to be ready to throw at the event or not. Lucas Grant was a recent sign-up we just had, left-handed arm out of Joliet Catholic going to Purdue. Really excited to see him, see if he's 100%, which he better be if he's throwing at this thing. But just a strike thrower that we've talked about on this podcast before. But no, Gavin, it should be great. Dominic Jacoby, Harper, shortstop, that's also a right-handed pitcher, but he's been getting some pro love. He's going to come. So it'll be a nice little mix of states, and getting a JUCO guy in there will be kind of interesting. But hopefully the turnout's great, and I'm really looking forward to the night.
I really
and then
like
going off that. Oh, sorry, Pete.
No,
go ahead.
I was just going to talk about quickly how cool of an idea it is to have the JUCO, aspect of it too. It's kind of a no-brainer for us, Drew. I don't know how you feel about it, but I mean, I think it'll help draw more pro guys because they want to see them too. But just add quality, depth to the roster and really talented players too.
Yeah, no, that's the whole thing is let's give the pro scouts what they want to watch, and value to the event. And not just to bring in a random, JUCO guy. It's to bring in somebody that is, getting that pro love, that these pro guys can get, a little glimpse of him, get his tools, an updated look at his tools. Like, how's he going to run? What's that arm playing like across the infield? But, JUCO, it's tricky. Like, they're practicing. We just talked about it. Like, their seasons are going to be opening up really soon. So certain JUCOs, it's like, hey, I don't want my guy to showcase this close to the season. Other coaches probably look at it differently. Like, hey, any opportunity I can get to showcase my guy, whether it's for a pro guy or that next level, they're going to want to do it. They're going to want to, do whatever they can for their players and their program. So, we'll see. I don't know if it's something that'll grow from this after this year or not, but especially having a position player, I think that's a little different than having an arm with the season so close.
Yeah, and then going off the pro case, this Sunday we have our Super 60, which is obviously the premier draft showcase that we have.
And I had to represent on it with the hoodie today, Gavin.
Drew's got the hoodie on.
Super 60 week here.
Yeah, so big event. A lot of talent from all over the country coming to the Max in Chicago. We have some Illinois guys coming. I don't have the number in front of me, but I think we have 4 or 5 guys. A mix of some position players and a couple arms, I believe. But should be good. And then Def, I don't know if you have anything more on this, but Ryan Presley just got traded to the Cubs, I believe. He didn't sign. He got traded from the Astros to the Cubs. But do you have anything more on that?
I don't think it's finalized yet, but it's gonna happen, basically. But I mean, it seems like a good pickup for the Cubs. I know Drew, probably a couple months ago now said, hey, they got to do something about that bullpen. So I also saw something on Twitter that, like, Cubs probably aren't done. They're looking to add even, another arm or two to the bullpen. So seems like a good get for you guys.
That'd be big time.
He gives me like John Lester, Cowboy Killer vibes, and those are the guys that we need.
What I had one hang up with the deal, and I don't know how true this is, but he had a no trade clause, and he turned down a trade somewhere else, and accepted a trade to the Cubs, contingent on the fact that he would be the closer, and that I'm not in on. Like what we're promising this guy, so the minute he struggles and isn't the closer, we're gonna have a clubhouse issue. Like, I don't know. So I'd be curious how true that is, what was said. Making a promise like that to trade for a guy is always a little scary in my opinion. So who knows what's true there, but that was something I read, and it's probably one of those things, you read something on social media, who knows how much weight it holds. But no, you are 100% right. I think the Cubs could use as much bullpen pitching depth as they could get, and we will see. I haven't dug too much into Presley's numbers to see how he's been over the past couple of years.
He's been good. He took a little step back, but I'm kind of with you, Drew, on that. Like, a little weird with him being like promising him the closer, but like I kind of have come to the realization or like idea that I like that we have someone that wants that pressure and wants the ball there, because like we've been struggling in that aspect for a while with a good closer. So if we have someone that wants that job now, like, all right, that's fine.
I hear
it's
you.
yours until like you F it up, but we'll
Yeah.
see what happens then. But no, I think it's a good pickup. I mean, he's had really good numbers the last couple of years. I know, Def, you're probably more in tune with it than me, but he did take a little step back last year, but like still was really solid, I think, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a good pickup for you guys. Especially with how bad it seemed like the bullpen was last year.
But Ryan Presley, let's go. Really excited for 2025. I was hearing some Bregman rumblings. Who knows what's true, but I hope the Cubs aren't done. Like, and my whole thing with the Presley thing is like, if the Cubs aren't performing in the middle of the year as well as they should be, and we want to trade for a closer, we should be able to trade for a closer, a back end guy, and not have to think twice about it. If it's going to make the team better. So we'll see what happens. I'm excited that baseball's around the corner. I saw some videos of like I think it was Pete Crow Armstrong getting some work in at spring training and stuff like that. So it is hopefully here sooner rather than later.